What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are tuned in from. We see we got people all the way from Portugal to all over the States and other parts of the world. If you haven't yet, throw in chat where you are tuned in from. Let's see where we can draw these community lines and bring people together, because it's not just about being live on air with you all in the chats, but I want to really incentivize you all to form your own meetups and groups. And all of us, we need a support structure. We need to know other people are, what other people are going through when they're working through things in crypto as well as life, the balance of all this, because it's not just about being in the charts. It's about making sure we have a good operating system. So we need community to do that. So how's everybody doing? If you're feeling good, if you're feeling grateful, throw a 1 in chat. Welcome to the show. If this is your first time, I can guarantee you it's not going to be your last time. My name is Kellam. You can find all of my info right there, Kelly, Kellam on Twitter. So I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're feeling good. If you haven't yet, we already got 123 people in the room. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. The question today is, will the SEC be forced to drop the case against Coinbase? Well, there's sort of new play happening with Coinbase sort of making that move, identifying a very real sort of circumstance that I feel like the case that's being brought against them does not meet. So will this sort of push back against the SEC? Will it have legs? Well, it kind of all depends on whether or not the judges and the legal system are in the pockets of the big banks or not. And I guess in a way, we're going to it's going to be very telling on not only Coinbase, but Binance and XRP. There's a lot of things going on currently that's going to be very illuminating to where our justice system is really supported or if they are independent. So we hope that they're independent and they're making rules based on laws, not based on preferential treatment to, I don't want to say too much because, but you understand where I'm going with all that. So with all that being said, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're feeling well. I hope you're feeling grateful. I hope you are, engaging with this market in a meaningful way and doing it safely, not just doing it out of hope, fear, and greed. We all have those emotions, but we need to enact a plan and a strategy and stick to it when we are in these charts. So again, I'm going to say, if you weren't here at the very beginning, we start the stream at 10 o'clock every day still, but we don't actually turn the camera on and get this going until 10:15. But every one of you that's an early bird, you guys get priority over, you basically get to have that sort of ability to help shape the stream each day, which coins we're going to be looking at, where the talk's going to go. Of course, we're going to have a couple news things, a couple items that I'm seeing myself in the charts, but in terms of all the other TA that we do, if you're here early, then you get to help, decide what other coins we're going to do. So I want to incentivize people, get here, be a part of the community. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, join us. We're pushing up today, but looks like we're at 7,760-ish followers / actually community members, because none of you are followers. You're all leaders. How do I know that? Because you're participating. You're already here before the ETFs get approved, before the big institutions get involved. You are here because you are a leader, and we are all part of this community. I'm as much a part of this community as you all are a part of this community. So I may be the face on screen, but we are equal members of the community. And for any of you that are members of BitLab Academy, I want to see more of you involved in those weekly streams we're doing, the private member streams that's in the premium Discord. And if you're a paying member of BitLab, you get access to that. And I do record them. So, those are being released about the day after. So I will be releasing that video later on today in the BitLab premium Discord. What am I talking about? I'm talking about bitlabacademy.com. Check it out. If you're not in there yet, get involved. Get involved with BitLab. No matter where you're at in your journey, I guarantee you we can help reformat some of the things you may have learned wrong, but also take you to new levels, take you deeper in understanding the fundamentals, the psychology, the trading strategies. And we're recording so much more. This is where you get involved with that. And of course, you can, when you're going to sign up, you can sign up for the free stuff here. If you want all access, you can sign up right here. You can use Give Me 30 for 30% off your first month. And whether you're a member already or you want to become a member, you can sign up for the BitLab Pro, and that gives you access to all the courses as well as a premium Discord. This gives you access to the Discord as well, but this also gives you access to all of the indicators we have. And we have major upgrades Complete overhaul of the indicator so it's understandable for everybody while still delivering incredible alpha. And when you sign up for the BitLab Pro, it basically discounts everything about 30%, and you're getting everything together. If you are currently a member, you get, when you upgrade, all you have to do is log in, sign up for this. It will automatically cancel all your other memberships, so you only get charged once for everything. And because you're already a member, you get 50% off your first month. So just wanted to shout that out. Now, here's some of the courses that we have in here. We have a lot more stuff. Each one of these courses has, I think, on-chain alone has 20 lessons. Trading Fundamental has around 20 lessons. Psychology of Trading has several, and we're recording a lot more. Candles, everything's in here. We're going to be broadening this out. Now, what are we talking about today? Well, before we dive into that, make sure you're heading over to my Twitter profile, which is right here at Kelly Kellam, Kelly, Kellam. Look for that blue check mark. Look for that hit logo. Give me a follow this afternoon. We weren't able to do it last week. There was issues with some Twitter spaces. So this afternoon, we got Kevin Svensson, we got Bar Chart, we got Jesse Olson, we got Ryan Rosbiani, myself, Crypto Vet. We do this typically every Thursday. This is going to be 4 p.m. This is hosted directly through my Twitter profile, which is also, we record this and it's released on iHeartRadio, Apple Music, Spotify. But the live is where to really listen to it because you can get involved. And yeah, I'd love to see you all there. So come over here to this page, hit that reminder, join us at 4 p.m. Eastern time today. And of course, come over here to BitLab Academy, follow us at Academy BitLab, look for this gold check mark and the hit logo. Give us a follow, hit this retweet, hit this like button, help support the community, help us grow together. All of your OGs, you're all here sub 10,000. We got the super OGs that were here below 1,000. I think we're going to be doing a special NFT for all the super OGs. You're going to get one NFT, the sub 1,000s. And then all the people that are just OGs, which is everybody pre 10,000, you'll get a NFT that also gives you some other special benefits that we will be announcing soon. I'll let you know when we're going to be launching that. So get involved. One of the things you got to do to get all that stuff is be following my Twitter profile, which is right here at Kelly Kellam, and following BitLab Academy right here. And of course, be a member here on the YouTube stream before we hit the 10,000 mark. And we're pushing up fast. We've hit almost 8,000 in about 5 months. So the next big pop on price action, I'm sure we'll get another influx of a couple thousand people. So big love to everybody. Enough talking, right? Let's get into the show. We got a guest that's going to be popping in here for a moment in a little while. So you'll see whenever that happens, it happens. Now, what do we want to talk about today? Well, let's save the Coinbase story for a moment. Jumper DCS World says, I used a 75 to 80% drawback to previous all-time highs in the past, and that means Bitcoin would hit 240K in 2025. If it retraced 75 to 80%, it would come back down to 70 to 65K next cycle. What's your thoughts? We're going to dive into exactly that sort of thinking today. We're going to be looking forward with specific sort of, and I'm not saying it's going to hit these targets, but we're going to use TA and basically cycle analysis to see exactly where Bitcoin may go on this pre-halving pump, and then extend that out further where Bitcoin and Ethereum can go post-halving pump, aka the next bull market top. We're going to get some regions where price action can go. And again, I'm not saying it is going to go there, but this is how you create ranges and levels. We talked about this extensively for about an hour and a half yesterday on the private member stream, how you find those levels, strong levels of confluence to set up strong levels of probability so you can make smart trading decisions. So especially once we get into price discovery meaning price has passed any previous all-time high. So there's no sort of roadmap of horizontal levels of where price action has interacted before, because it is discovering price that has never been to. So once we break $69,000 and we're traveling up towards that 100K, how do we give any sort of indication? How do we give ourselves any sort of levels to be interested in, and also to have any sort of idea where to potentially take profits, to, get a little worried if we're overheated? Well, when we're going into those zones, there's a couple things we can do. We can utilize on-chain data. We can utilize Fibonacci extensions, because we have fibs for retracements, right? But we also have extensions to give ourselves an idea of where price may expand to and where it might cool off. And that's what this is all about. But before we get into all of that, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell, engage with this community. We got 195 people in the room, 106 lives. That means 106 likes. That means only 106 of you were raised well by your mother. What are you doing? Get engaged with these streams you're watching. These streams are free. The easiest way you can pay us back is just get engaged. Hit that like button. Hit the dislike if you don't like what's going on. I mean, if you're still here, it means there's something that's tickling your fancy. So now let's go ahead and dive into some of the things we want to talk about here. Well, first things first, before we get to the Coinbase thing, I just thought this was interesting. Bitcoin salary. Employees are starting to increase, employees choosing crypto paychecks amid economic instability. Now, you have to remember, first things first, U.S. is not the only country in the world. Our prices have fluctuated. We've had inflation, sure. But when you look at one of the reasons why the U.S. dollar is still the world reserve currency, although I would argue it's probably on its way out, it's not going to be as fast as people think it's going to be. Probably going to be somewhere on the fastest side of 15 to 20 years, on the slowest side, another 40 to 80 years. I would think it's probably going to be somewhere in the 30-year mark where things are going to slowly sort of, I don't want to say phase out, but U.S. dollar as the world reserve currency with the regularity in which it's used currently, I think will continue to start to phase out slowly with the BRICS nations also talking about potentially using Bitcoin as a settlement layer, as well as many other things going on globally. The globalization of the world, and also the growing awareness of the decentralized power that is Bitcoin, and also having a payment and settlement and value layer globally that can be trusted because it's not controlled by any sovereign government. You can't use Bitcoin as a leverage tool. The only thing you can use it to leverage is your own sovereignty and to move forward, whether you're an individual or a nation. So really, it's a great incentive for any entity or individual to get involved with Bitcoin, because you are proclaiming your individuality, you're proclaiming your sovereignty and not wanting to be controlled by others. Because face it, right now, any country, which is basically nearly every country that is in global trade, is somewhat forced to use the U.S. dollar, and by doing so, you're putting yourself at the whims and at the control of the U.S. government and their decisions. And now, I don't necessarily agree with what Russia did, but one of the worst things that's happened in the last year and a half on the global trade level and on the U.S. economic footing and social tact and political tact level is the U.S. sanctioning the Russian government by basically freezing and closing out accounts that they had with U.S. dollars in them. They weaponize the U.S. dollar. Now, if they're going to do that to Russia, think about other countries that have a lot less socioeconomic political power. You've weaponized the U.S. dollar. The only way you can weaponize the Bitcoin is by truly owning a huge share of it. So everybody that has more and more of it, everybody that's decentralized into it, you're weaponizing yourself in a meaningful way by creating yourself as a standalone, on a shared level, a standalone entity by being involved with Bitcoin. So let's talk about that. And then when we see this ties right into that. Bitcoin salary, people leaning into having crypto as payment, especially if you talk about Venezuela or Argentina or, Turkey or any of these countries that have had wild swings in the value of their national currency. Well, we're seeing that on the rise. Volatility among some fiat currencies I'm talking about other countries as well as US, has made stablecoins like USDC a more attractive option for payroll, according to HR executives. Now, although this isn't specifically Bitcoin, USDC is a stablecoin. This means that people are being, I don't want to say forced, but they're being brought into the digital asset ecosystem. This is wonderful. Political and economic tensions around the world are making some more willing to receive their pay in cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, according to executives in the human resources industry. The share of salaries taken in cryptocurrencies and stablecoins has been on the rise over the last few years. This trend is driven not only by prominent athletes and politicians taking their pay in crypto, but also by ordinary people who want to hedge against all kinds of instability, according to Golance co-founder and CEO Michael Brooks. Some regions experience, we just read that. Okay, some regions experiencing political instability, hyperinflation, or restrictive financial systems have seen an uptick in cryptocurrency usage as an alternative means of conducting transactions. Exactly. You know, we can even take this back and think about Western Union and not the settlement later, global remittances. When you have people working in the U.S. but sending money back home to their families in Guatemala or Mexico or Somalia, or name the country. When you're sending money globally, it's the biggest crime in the world that we have not fixed this until now with blockchain. But families that are literally scraping by. You have people living near poverty here in the U.S. making decent money, but they're sending a good portion of that money, a large amount of that money back home to their family in whatever country that they're in, that are living in far worse conditions because they can make more money here. But in so doing, by sending that through Western Union or one of these other global remittance settlements providers, they're giving sometimes as much as 30%. Can you imagine that? You come here, you're like, oh, I'm finally making, $1,500 a month, whereas back home you were making, $30 a week. And now 30%. Now, yeah, the $1,500 is a huge increase from that $30 to $100 you may have been making back home. But now you're okay with paying that 30% because now you're making $1,500. But 30% of $1,500 it's a huge amount of money. It's about $500 out of that $1,500. But with blockchain, not only do people not have to wait, doesn't settle over the course of 3-5 days a week, but also even if it does settle more quickly with something like Western Union, then they still have to make their way to a physical brick and mortar location to collect those funds, provide KYC, all these different. It's just a crock of what I'm talking about. But with XLM, with XRP, with Algorand, with Cardano, man, I always get hiccups on the stream. With any of these blockchains, Bitcoin, you can have it as slow as 10 minutes. That's pretty damn fast comparatively with Swift, sometimes 7 days to a week. XLM, near immediate. And think about it. You could send $100 million. Corporations, not only people, but corporations can do cross-border payments. And rather than, if you're sending, say, $1 billion from one of your business accounts to your other business account across global borders, which, think about it, with institutions, if you have a company that has headquarters in name the country, but then they also are operating in the US, or they're also operating, they have banks in those respective different territories. And in order to send money between themselves, they have to use some sort of remittance platform, some sort of Swift or some sort of something, some sort of service provider that, they're not paying 30%. They're still paying tens of thousands, if not even sometimes $1 million+ for the service fee to send those transactions. And now with Bitcoin or any of these other blockchains, you can do it near immediately and at a fraction of the pennies on the dollar. So both institutions, corporations, and individuals alike all benefit from blockchain. Why is the government so against it? It's not. The banks. The banks are against it. And they are now, we can see in droves, because they have their products and their services in order, they are flocking to Bitcoin, especially now that BlackRock said, okay, it's okay, we're getting into it. So what's with all the suppression? Well, let's talk about that. Well, with all the suppression, we also had the Binance and Coinbase lawsuits come from the SEC. But look at this. Coinbase asks for dismissal of SEC lawsuit. Says tokens are, this is a key point, tokens are not investment contracts. The whole deal with SEC is about having other people do work for this project to succeed. Now, I will agree with some of the things that were brought out in the Hinman emails and some of the other arguments I've heard from other people in the space that securities, you know, especially when you think about a lot of the ICOs with a lot of the altcoins that popped off in 2017, 2018, before they really clamped down on the ICO craze that we had. A lot of those projects were not developed yet. So buying them at that stage could be argued that they were securities because the protocols had to be built out. You had a team building on them. Now, having different people in a decentralized blockchain that are still building on that thing, that's different than not having the protocol functional and you have an entire team building and marketing it. That's different. But in this case, Coinbase asked for dismissal of SEC lawsuit because think about now, these coins are not being ICO'd. These are coins that have been out for, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. A lot of the coins that were listed in this lawsuit with Coinbase. And in addition to that, tokens are not investment contracts. Tokens, for the most part, are gas tokens. So I have somebody that may want to have something to say about this. So slide your little tail feather in here, my friend, and back it up, drop it like it's hot, and hop in on this camera.
What's going on?
You guys,
whoa!
You might know this fella from the other side of the Zoom, Mr. Dano Crypto. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. So I decided to crash the stream live. So you guys know I mean business. You know, we do things online, but I think when you're trying to make some moves, you have to go where the I keep saying the sauce is, and I think the Hit Network is the sauce. So.
And if you don't know where the sauce is, you make the damn sauce. Get that mortar and pestle and make it. So,
yes.
What's your thoughts on this?
So Coinbase asked for dismissal of SEC lawsuit, says tokens are not investment contracts. So I was talking about this on one of my videos where I was explaining, okay, so how can the average person think about what a investment contract is and say the difference between a stock and ADA? Or something that is not like a stable, even like a stable coin too. So I can't send my Tesla stock or my Coinbase stock to another person. So in that's what crypto is in terms of a digital asset and a commodity. You are trading with it. You're using it as a form of currency, but it's a new type of currency. So when it comes to them not being actual investment contracts, that's how, in my mind, I can explain it to someone. I can't send Tesla to someone, but I can send my Cardano anywhere 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to anyone. So,
well, one of the things I think about as well is the fact that we are in a digital space, but in the metaverse, in this other digital world that we're living in, I don't know if you guys can hear me because of the noise gate, is that all these tokens are primarily used for paying gas fees on their respective chains. Yeah. And so if we use gas in the real world and it fuels different mechanisms, you know, IRL in real life, like motor vehicles and transport and, you know, logistics and all the, you know, energy, when you're trading gas, it's not a security. When we're trading gas in the digital sector, if I'm able to use this to make transactions happen on a protocol, then maybe I don't want to use it on that protocol. I know this has value. I'm trading it with you, so you have gas to enact and make a function happen, or store it as a value. In my mind, that's not a security whatsoever.
Yeah, I can definitely agree. So it's like, and this is why we're having such controversy around crypto. And because it's a new asset class and we're coming out of an archaic sector, we're coming out of like, I mean, how many years have we been operating in this type of financial system? I mean, it's been over 100 years that we've been transacting and doing our banking system the way we have. I mean, it's gone through different phases. Like we've been backed by gold, we've been backed by different things. And then at some point in, what was it, the 40s, I think is when we went to the Federal Reserve System, correct? So what we're seeing is a decoupling and all of these financial institutions holding on, but then we have, you know, good players in our government that are trying to bridge the gap between TradFi and this new decentralized finance. And so we have we have DEXs and we have centralized exchanges, and the whole battle is to basically find a middle point to where, you know, 1913. So yeah, I mean, so we've been operating on that system for a while. So obviously with things that have that type of power, they're going to hold on, and they're going to try and extend that power over into every single facet that they can. So our job in crypto is to basically tribune that it's a freedom of purchase, freedom of choice of what we want to use to buy our goods and services. That's the whole point of a free society, where there are rules and limitations, which are totally fine, but in respect that it's not rules and regulations to manipulate us, the people. So it's a give and take.
So, Dano, how long are you in studio?
I'm here all day, I think. Well, until they kick me out, I think. So we'll see. So, and tomorrow too. So I'm going on Wendy O's show tomorrow at 10 a.m. So you got to tune into that. So I think I'll be doing it from the studio here. So,
but they may not tune in because they'll be here. But can we twist your arm to come on tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll definitely come on tomorrow. I think that'll be ending at 10:30. So right when that ends, I'll pop down here, and then Kelly will have me on. So
yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, of course.
We'll have you on tomorrow. We'll dig into it a bit further. Everybody, that's Dano Crypto. If you're not following him, check him out at Dano Crypto on YouTube and then also on Twitter, I believe. Dano Crypto 904 on Twitter. You can also find him at Hotboy67 on tonelycams.com. Yeah. All right. Thank you for popping in here, brother. It's good to see you. So the whole question here is, if this SEC lawsuit gets dismissed, what does that say? What does that indicate about what's going to happen with price action? Well, I think one, as we mentioned earlier in the stream, and by the way, if you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell, join us in our community. If you're not a member of our community yet, what the hell are you doing? Get involved. We got a wonderful community here. And shout out to everybody that's been here from the start. Big love to everybody. I wanted, what were we talking about? We were talking about fajitas, tacos, prime rib. No, we were talking about, okay, so if the SEC lawsuit gets dismissed or truncated in any way, what it really indicates, and this would be incredibly bullish for all of crypto, is it indicates that there are people within our justice system that understand what the hell is going on. Because right now it's not clear. Currently, you know, politicians have a big talking game about wanting to, you know, they always have this talking point about wanting to get out of special interests and so on and so forth. Yet each and every one of them comes in with nearly no money. And 7 years later, they have $100 million in their bank account. It just makes no sense. It's clear that our politician and our justice system as well is bought and paid for. And this is an opportunity. I'm challenging everybody that's in the justice system out there. And I'm going to clip this and I want everybody to share it. I want to challenge the justice system out there to make sure that you are doing what the Constitution was intended for. The justice system is about bringing equality to people. It's about bringing justice to people. It's not about serving the special interest of banks and those that paid to get you into your office. That's not what this is about. The justice system needs to enact their power and authority to support and empower people, protect people. The SEC, Jay Clayton was, you know, basically said, who's a previous chairman of the SEC, says Gary Gensler is abusing his power. Judge Torres, you know, basically called out the lawsuit against Binance, called out the SEC, said essentially, what the hell are you doing? There's no evidence. It's basically, they were challenging the judge in the XRP case, also challenging the SEC, saying, you know, not the SEC, sorry, the judge in the Binance case also saying, where is the evidence? Do you have any evidence of what you're talking about with commingling? Oh, actually, no, we don't have any evidence. Well, what the hell are you doing? It's market manipulation. That's what it is. So why are they not being held accountable? Why are these government institutions that are supposed to be for the people out here just throwing mud at the wall because you have a nicer house than they do? That's essentially what they're talking about. Why do I say that? Weird metaphor, because we're talking about the house of government. We're talking about the house of government that is funded by banks. Look at Janet Yellen talking all this trash about the crypto during the pandemic. We're seeing crypto run while the banks were basically steadily just, not doing much. And then we see all these banking failures here in 2023. Meanwhile, Janet Yellen, in the year, I think, preceding or the year of the pandemic, it was right around that time, was getting paid I think it was during the pandemic because there's a lot of Zoom talks that she did. She got paid $7 million from different banking conglomerates to go and give talks. And then she comes out against crypto. You don't think that screams impropriety? You don't think that screams lack of ethics? These government officials need to stop being allowed to run as mouthpieces for the banks, because that's essentially what's happening. And when we look at this case right here with Coinbase and Coinbase pushing back, let's go ahead and read a little bit of this. Coinbase pushing back because tokens are not contracts. Binance getting thrown under the bus by the SEC, yet they have no evidence. Shouldn't there be a lawsuit against SEC for essentially manipulating the market, even if it's because the government is trying to suppress the market because they're trying to get into crypto? I don't care what the reason is. They are damaging good people, not just nationally here in the US, but they're damaging the entire global ecosystem. Now, do I think it's going to succeed through all this in terms of Bitcoin and blockchain? It's going to prevail. But the truth is, why throw all this mud just because you feel like they're aware that these services and these protocols and this alternative to the banking system is better? Golly, I just want to, whoo. So that's what I got to say about that. Let's go ahead and read a little bit of this article. Coinbase has filed papers asking the New York federal court to dismiss its lawsuit from the SEC, accusing the exchange, the lawsuit from the SEC that is accusing the exchange of offering unregistered securities. SEC has offered inadequate guidance on cryptos. Coinbase, a U.S. crypto exchange, has filed papers asking the New York federal court to dismiss the lawsuit of the Securities Exchange Commission. While the SEC accused the exchange of offering unregistered securities, Coinbase argues that the digital assets listed on its platforms are not subject to the regulator's jurisdiction and its 177-page response to the SEC. I hope this gets dismissed, and I hope Coinbase sues the SEC for misappropriations of funds and because of how much money they're spending trying to go after these different crypto-related firms and institutions and exchanges, but also misappropriation of power. I don't know what the actual legal term would be there, but abuse of power maybe. Coinbase says tokens are not investment contracts. In early June, the SEC filed a lawsuit against Coinbase saying that dozens of blah, 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 blah. We read all this. Early on Thursday, Coinbase submitted its response, asserting that these cryptocurrencies are not securities because they are not investment contracts. The question here is going to be, how is the law interpreted? Sawtooth Hiker said, damn straight 100, 100, 100. That's right, guys. We need to be more vocal. We can't just be mad at these government officials. We need to make our voices heard with our dollars. We need to make our voices heard with calling our representatives. We need to make it overwhelming that we need to make the fact that we are interested in the betterment of society and how much that we care about crypto and how, oh man, woo, tyranny is a term, Kelly. That's right, Zeus Cash. Man, I'm loving the chat today. Can I get an amen? I say hallelujah this evening. That's right. Now, Coinbase had previously made its defense on public statements on its blog posts and tweets, but today's filing, not just public statements, provides more specifics supporting the claims. The exchange explains that no agreement exists if a promoter sells an asset linked to a contract regarding cryptos on the exchange's secondary market platform. Now, this term right here is important. secondary market platform in a way they're somewhat trying to, whether they're trying to do this explicitly or not, or maybe it's just the truth of the situation. They're highlighting a previous judgment and settlement that's already happened, that's on the books, that gives some legal precedent. The library case, LBRY. They, got sued by the SEC. They didn't have as deep of pockets as XRP and Coinbase and Cardano, who all have deep pockets to fight this tooth and nail with the SEC. But they did come to a settlement. But one of the determinations that was made in that case is that the part of the case that got basically came to settlement, and also parts of it were dismissed, had to do with the fact that the initial coin offering was deemed as security, but the sale of the assets on the secondary market. What does that mean? You and me trading on Coinbase, you and me trading on DEX, you and me trading post ICO, where I own the asset. Maybe I bought it. When I bought it, it was a security. But then now, once it's sufficiently decentralized and we're trading on the secondary market, no longer a security. Coinbase is an exchange that deals explicitly in secondary market exchange. That's what the exchanges are. You're trading on a secondary market. So they're really highlighting that. Blah, 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 blah. If a promoter sells an asset linked to a contract regarding cryptos on the exchange's secondary market platform, essentially citing the Supreme Court Howey's test as an example. Hence, the filing explained the token issuers have no obligation to the investor. They don't. They're hosting a platform from which somebody else posts it and you're buying it. Now, do they have some assets on exchange that create liquidity as well? Sure, but those are still secondary exchange tokens as well. Elliot Locke in the house, $5 super chat. You should turn this rant into bars, my brother, and put some tunes to it. Post it on Twitter and watch it run. Keep up the good work. I really appreciate it, brother. And it's, again, such a wonderful putting a face to a name there in Miami, Bitcoin Miami. Big love to everybody out here in the community. I'm going to mute myself. Got a Gazoo night. We got 283 people in the room. Only 162 of you were raised well by your mother. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Ding that bell if you are not agreeing with what the SEC is doing. If you are in support of freedom and the power of individuals, hit that like button. Join us here. Now, Coinbase, we already went through all this. Okay, Coinbase is relying on so-called fair notice defense. They're not giving shit. Sorry, I got to say it. They're regulating through enforcement. Fair notice, Coinbase had tried to meet with SEC and had met a number of times, I think 20 or 30, but they had made 50 or so attempts to meet directly on all these topics to get that rule book. And what does the SEC say? The rules are clear. Well, what are the rules? Well, you have to find them. Well, okay, well, show us where they're at. Well, the SEC is, I can't even go on any further about it. I can't. So Coinbase claims the SEC's lawsuit may have breached the major questions doctrine and that its due process rights have been violated in a second document submitted to the judge supervising the case. The company requested a 7-week timeline from the judge for the filing of its motion, the SEC's opposition and its response to the opposition. So we don't need to go any deeper into this article. The point being is SEC is, and I don't, to be very honest, I don't even think it's the SEC that's abusing the power. I think in reality, I do think Gensler is smarter than he seems. I don't think, I mean, I guess he's the one that made a decision to go along a party, company lines essentially, because this is not a government. This is a company, right? The government is a corporation. If we're really looking into how the U.S. was formed, it is an incorporated republic, right? So they're following, they're a mouthpiece from the top down. So, and who's at the top is being funded by big banks. So the SEC is effectively is a hammer that has been formed, and the decisions of how that hammer is swung is being decided by big banks and by lobbying partners and stuff like that. So we need to pay attention to this. So the regulator recently also filed against Binance and its U.S. affiliate for allegedly mismanaging customers' deposits and making false statements to the regulators. Binance later filed a request to curtail the SEC's use of language regarding the SEC's regarding the exchange's management of customers' funds, which District Court Judge Amy Berman Jackson denied. Meanwhile, they have been given until September 21st to respond to the allegations. All this is it's just absolute shenanigans. 303 people in here, loving everybody in the stream today. Yeah, so if you haven't yet, again, we do giveaways sometime, and the way to get involved with those giveaways is head over to BitLab Academy Twitter page, give us a follow, hit this retweet, hit this like. Maybe we'll give away, we'll make this a big one. Maybe we'll give away $100 and a 3-month subscription to BitLab Academy, all access to all the courses in premium Discord. Get involved on this one today. Hit this retweet, hit this like. If we get over we got a lot of people in the room. So if we get over 250 likes on this stream, we will draw directly at the end of the stream from this specific tweet. We're not going to randomly pick a day. It'll be from this tweet today. Hit this retweet, hit this like, follow us. You are entered to win. If we get over 250 likes, we will draw. So everybody in the room right now, hit that like button. Now let's continue on. I want to look at Glassnode a little bit, and we're going to dive in. We're going to look at a bunch of charts. We're going to talk TA on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Avalanche. And then you all posted a bunch. I'm going to scroll up. We got a long list of coins that you talked about up here. Near, I think, was one of them. Let me scroll. Coin. We got to do Coin also, which is Coinbase's chart from their they're publicly traded. It's a traditional asset. We got a bunch of other things we're going to look at as well. But before we dive into the TA, let's go ahead and look right now at some of the on-chain metrics and see where we're at. Where do we have room to run? So before we dive into that, on Glassnode, let's come over here and do CBI, Colin. You can type Colin Talks Crypto. You see search just like this. And this one right here, colintalkscrypto.com is where it's at. CBBI, which is an aggregator of a bunch of on-chain data. It simplifies it if you're not really into on-chain data, and you get a score from 1 to 100 of as low as the lower it goes, the closer to a bear market bottom you are, the higher it goes, the closer to a bull market top you are. What do I mean by this? Well, let's zoom down. We can see right here. This is an oscillator. It's oscillating from 1 all the way up towards 100. We got to 100 right here at this peak. You see, this time we didn't get to 100, but we did get above 80. We got up to 84 and then pulled back. So you can see the strength of a trend, whether it's to the upside or the downside. And if that trend is exhausted. And this is aggregating. Pi cycle top, the relative on unrealized profit and loss, the realized, whatever. The HODL ratio, the Puel multiple, the 2-year moving average, the Bitcoin low trend lines, MVRVZ score, the reserve risk, and the Wooble top cap versus coin value days destroyed. So you don't even need to know all these when you're just getting started. You could pull this up, colintalkscrypto.com/CBBI. Basically Bitcoin Bull Run Index is what it stands for. And we can see right now, look at the progression of colors. This is a heat map to 0 to 100, much like this oscillator that we're seeing here. This is a Bitcoin price with all these colors. We get into the deep green, which is obviously down here near 0. We get into the deep dark past red into the, whatever color you want to call this, almost past red towards deep maroon, all the way almost to black. And we see this happens near tops. The dark green happens near bottoms. But what I want you to see is a progression of colors. Progression of colors, deep green to light green, up to this kind of puke green, to the yellow, to the orange, to the red. Well, okay, look at this. Deep green, light green, into this yellowish. We get a pre-halving pullback. Market capitulation here at global market shut down, global economy shut down. This was a black swan here, but then essentially we went from yellow to back to light green to yellow to orange. So what my point is here is we have the deep green. We also have very low here, down to 2. We're on the way up. You see, we have plenty of room to run to the upside. Doesn't mean we're not going to have a pullback pre-halving. But as we're seeing right now, we got a lot of room above us, okay? The market is angled up. The metrics are angled up. And we can see this went from dark green to light green. What's the next phase? Yellow. I do think we will get a yellow, and I think we'll likely get a pullback pre-halving. So let's come over here, back over to glassnode.com. Let me go ahead and scroll back down on the chat window. Did I miss a Oh, that was Elliot Locke. I just want to make sure I didn't. Quarter crawler. It says, Kelly, the GOAT. I'm not the GOAT, but I'm just learning. I'm sharing my thoughts as we grow. I've been in this space since about 2015. I was trading traditional assets before that, also running a lot of different online businesses and traveling international as a musician. So I've done quite a lot in my short time on Earth. It all started after getting medically retired from the military at 20. So it gave me a little bit of financial backdrop to fully focus on anything I was doing. So I've always excelled at anything I was doing because I gave it all of my focus. So that's what we're doing here. We're giving all of our focus to the fundamental data so then we can stack the probabilities in our favor using technical analysis data. So we can look at a wide scope of data that's providing us a map of where price likely could go. And then we enact our risk management strategies in those events, which happen regularly, of price going in a different direction. So looking here, this is not the chart I want to look at. I want to look at supply last active 1 to 2 years. So what we're seeing here is the strength of the market. So on this downtick here, you see this? This is supply last active. Basically, coins being sold into this. If we look right here, this is coins supply last active 1 to. So this here is when basically it's kind of think of it. There's a different metric for this. Just kind of think of this as sellers getting exhausted. So the selling narrative in the space starts getting exhausted. People buying and holding for up to 1 year. You see this number going way up. So you're getting strength in the market, right? Then you're getting weakness in the market. You're getting strength in the market, but we had a little bit of a kerfuffle here with a lot of the shakeout from the FTX, a lot of people moving stuff around, but we're seeing this as this starts to come up. Not only did we form a bottom, but we're getting that strength coming into the next movement to the upside. You see this? This is moving up as this is kind of getting towards the end. And then once we're at the end, we're getting that, we get a shift in behavior and this comes back down. But what I really would like to show you is MVRV score. Here we go. This also shows us, we had this accumulation zone here. We had this final dip right here at the FTX collapse, which is this little dip. And we've had this little push to the upside, but we have so much room to go before we overheated. What is this a measurement of? MVRVZ, market value to realized value. How far the price action on charts, on exchange, the spot value of the speculative value that you would trade at, where is that in relationship to where the realized value, the realized price, the cost basis. Cost basis is the average price of every coin on network the last time it moved. So you have to think some coins have been held for 7 years, some coins have been held for 3 minutes. What would average the price of those two together, and then you're getting the realized price of those two coins, right? So you end up getting, if we look at this over here on look into Bitcoin, look into bitcoin.com. This is more informative for newbies. We can come to charts. Where's MVRVZ? Here we go. You can see not only the metric here, this is the MVRVZ score, but you're seeing the Bitcoin price, but you're also seeing this blue line here is essentially the moving average of the realized price of Bitcoin. And when your price is below it, you typically are getting near a bottom. You see this? And when you're very far above it, you see this measurement right here in orange. This is a measurement above the zero line. Zero is when your price is right at it. You see right here, right where the price is right at zero, price is also right at zero right here. When price is getting very far separated, expanded very far away, it is diverging very far from the realized price, then how far you're diverged from the realized price is when you get these large spikes up here into the red. You see this? You're getting this separation between the two. The point here is, look at how low we are here. Look at how low we are here. We have a lot of room to run here. Look at how low we were here. A lot of room to run. The point is we've got the bandwidth. We've got the gas in the tank. So if we see something like this come to fruition, or even if there's a settlement in somewhat of a, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm sure my brain will work. when you're talking with somebody and you have a disagreement and you have to not collaborate, what's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't matter. God damn it. I can't think when I'm on stream sometimes. You know what I'm saying. When there's, God dang it. My brain is locked up. What is the word I'm looking for? I don't know. We've got a lot of things in the tank with a lot of different signals that are suggesting if we come here to realized price, reserve risk, reserve risk shows we're very low. Compromise. There's the dang word. Thank you, man. I need to come in here and tune up my brain. But we're very low. Reserve risk. What does reserve risk measure? It measures the price versus the HODL bank. What is a HODL bank? HODL bank is how many people are, these coins and these tokens that are designated by different coin analytical processes, that coins that are identified as being held, strong coins that are not reacting to volatility. So when you have this very low, it means you don't have very many weak coins being held out of there. You have a disproportionate amount of strength in the market. And look how low this still is. Technically where we're at right now is still below where the low was in March of 2020. We're still right at that level. You see this? If we zoomed in on this portion right here, this is March 2020. You see this level? We're right in the same region. Now, this was a catastrophe, and it got all the way down here. And then we moonshot out of this. Now, this worked its way down here, and we're finding a little bit of resistance right here at this level on this on-chain metric. Mushrooms, that's funny. Hey, man, it's been a minute. I've done ayahuasca 6 times. I was part of that whole music scene culture. I ran one of the biggest sound camps at Burning Man for 11 years. So I've had the experiences, and now I'm full focused. Now I'm Mr. Corporate. Kind of funny. But you know what? I stand by that. Mushrooms definitely open your mind. But we're seeing that if we look at this and zoom out, we've got a lot of room to go before we get anywhere near overheated. So when we come in here to the charts, we got 290 people in the room, 212. We only have to get 30, was it 38? 37 more likes, and we'll be doing that giveaway of $100 plus $100 USDT plus the 3-month membership to BitLab Academy. Now, Bitcoin, zooming in, we're at 1107. We're going to have to move through these. Okay. Now, Bitcoin, what was I talking about yesterday? I'm actually not even going to change this. I'm going to come over here to the chart that I was working on yesterday, which is right here. Is it Bitstamp right here? Oh, did I delete it? I deleted it. Oh, no, it's got to be a different one. I'm sure it's on here. Deleted it. No, it's all good. Daily. Oh, man. That's a bummer. I'd drawn this out yesterday, how essentially I thought it was very likely. This is not what I drew. This is from a few days ago. I drew out that it was very likely that the price action on this breakout could very well do something like this, where it kind of comes up, breaks down, comes up, and then goes like this, where we're faking people out to the downside and then breaking to the upside. Now, I talked about this level right here, the bottom of these candle bodies and the bottom of this wick. Okay. And I said, in reality, I don't want it to break below the 29.6, but I'd really like for bullishness for it to hold above this 29,830-ish level. And we see the price action push down, and the wick came down within, let's see where the low is. We can look right up here, open, high, low, close. That's what OHLC stands for. You put your candle over this. You see how those change on each candle? It's giving you all that data. Use the data that's available to you. Again, if you haven't yet, if you're watching anywhere else, or if this is your first time on the channel, or you've been watching and you haven't done this, come to the BitLab Academy YouTube page, youtube.com/@BitLab Academy. subscribe, join us here, and scroll down right here to Daily Alpha. Come right here to Pro Trading View Guide. We break down how to set up your templates, how to find the data, the most meaningful data on here, how to use quick keys, Command T or Alt T and Alt F, and there's a lot, Alt V. There's a lot of stuff you can do to very quickly move through TradingView, but also understanding the data that's being presented to you. So you put your mouse over this candle. We see the low on that is 29.868. So this came within $30 of where I was saying if this breaks out to the downside and this is going to be a fake out back to the upside, we want to watch for this to come down and hold basically right about where these candle bodies are. And it bounced only with a wick to about $30 of that location. We've come back up. We're not out of the woods yet because we're having resistance kind of in this level region. If we kind of come here, extend this out, we can actually go to the wicks there. Now we see on these wicks, now we see on these wicks, price actions come right up into this. Now let's go ahead and extend this out, these wicks. So we have this region here. Why did I do this? Because we have the candle bodies that a lot of these candle bodies were bouncing off of. So I have this line, then I have the secondary line of where the wicks were coming down to. Look, this bounce. This didn't have much of interaction here, but now coming up in this, we're kind of trapped between the top of this resistance level and this lower wick level here, which is okay because this top resistance level is all wicks. So it makes sense that we're bouncing right in this wick zone. If we're able to bounce in here and then break out from here, this would be the perfect fake out in both directions sort of a scenario that we were talking about. This is why we want to be patient. This is why you also need to have stop losses and be okay if your stop loss gets hit. And then if you're still confident in that move, re-identify where your new entry is to take it. Now, so we're going to kind of here, double click on the chart. Stochastics, okay, and we're going to zoom in on the stochastics, Option T or Alt T if you're on PC. Look at this. We have this resistance line that this is getting rejected off of. We're on the 4 hour. Let's look at the RSI. Zoom down here, Option T. Okay, this is interesting. Look at this. We've broken out of this trend line. Now we're coming back to test not only the trend line, what do we want to look for? Confluence. It's coming back down to test this descending trend line and also the moving average on this RSI. So this is a critical juncture right in this zone right here. Because if we're able to hold this, and look, I didn't even notice this. Holy moly, we're just getting all the confluence points right here. Option J. On the 4 hour, we got little rejection right at the 50 zone back down. We broke through this 50 zone. What do we say? On a time period, if the RSI, if the strength holds above 50, then you'll likely be reversing back to the upside because you're in bullish strength. And this is broken past the 50 line. It's coming down to test this line, this moving average, this descending trend line, and we're also, if we bounce anywhere in this region right here, anywhere in this region, then this is a very strong indication that we're going to be coming up, probably test and continue up like this. So this is just a strength. But why do we care about that? Because the strength gives us incentive, it gives us indication. That's why these are called indicators. Gives us indication about what may be happening in the price action. Because if strength is increasing and price, if the underlying strength of an asset is increasing while price is not yet following through, you're building up the pressure. Kind of like if you throw a Mentos in a Coca-Cola can or a Coca-Cola bottle, shake it up, the pressure will get so much that it basically explodes, right? So we want to see pressure building. We're seeing two conflicting things a little bit though right here. We're seeing the momentum shifting right here. We can tell this by the rounding nature of the MACD. We have the stochastics trying to break above here. So this is agreeing, stochastics finding some resistance. Money flow, we don't want this to break down and money to start coming out. So what I'd like to see is money flow start expanding, and I'd like to see the RSI flip back in the other direction. So let's go down to 1 hour time frame. Okay, on the 1 hour time frame, say a little bit of choppiness here in the money flow, so we can ignore this for now. This is key right here. Here's the first sign that I'm seeing. The MACD is contracting, but the strength of the stochastics right here, this is something that's giving us a little bit of a leading signal. So looking here, we do have a rising trend here. We move this like this. We do have a rising trend right here. This is starting to curve back up. We want this to hold above this trend line. Okay, if this doesn't and this loses, then maybe we're due for another little bit of a pullback, which isn't the end of the world because we have, what do we have right below us? We have this level right here, which is a 29,830. We have this level right here, 29,640, and we still have this 382, which we have not seen yet. I do think if we get rejected here, because of the nature of things, I do think if we get rejected here, we will likely get price action that breaks past this 382 and tests somewhere in this region between the 0.5 and the 618, which is 28.5 to 28.2. So if I had to guess on the bullish side, we'd likely be bouncing somewhere in this region with maybe a little bit of a wick below this tap in this golden pocket. That's what I'm seeing on Bitcoin. Remember, we have this move up here. So we're looking at the 4 hour. Now let's zoom out. I usually go the opposite direction where we're looking at the macro and then the smaller time frame. But I know you all are hungry for what the hell is going to happen. So this is what I'm looking at on the smaller time frames, on the 4 hour and the 1 hour, to see where price action might go in the short, basically in the short term. Remember, this is if you're not sure where price is going, if you're looking at this, what's going to happen? Zoom out a little bit. See where the previous regional high was. This is why not only the golden pocket I'm looking at right here, this is a previous high right in this zone. We can do it from the wick all the way up here, which is why, you know, I'd already done this, which is why I know this is a good zone, or from the candle bodies, which has several taps here. This is the bottom side of the golden pocket. So if the price action does come down here, we have this entire zone to contend with and still be bullish. Now, we can look at this as the bull flag that it is, which I actually wouldn't do it from there. I'm going to delete that. I don't know why it was like that. I would do it from this zone, option T or alt T if you're on PC. You sucker. Work with me, buddy. There we go. So coming here, measure this out. Where does it go? Right into these 3 points of confluence. Horizontal resistance above us. Horizontal right here. Where is it from? Well, let's zoom out. It is from, it is from all of this level of, look, bounce, 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 rejection. So we have this zone right above us. We also have this diagonal. Sucker. We have this diagonal trend line right here, pushing up. In addition to this diagonal and horizontal, we also have this target that's coming right here. Now I'm going to show you on the small time frame. Now we're going to look at the big time frame to look at some targets of where things may go. So what we want to do is we want to take a Fibonacci, which you can click over here. If you don't see it, 1, 2, third one down, click a little arrow. You can find fib retracement. You can put a star on it if you want. It'll be in your little toolbar. It'll be in your little toolbar like I have right here. You don't see the toolbar. You see this star right here. You can turn on the toolbar. Everything you see with these little arrows, you can put a star on it. It puts it on your toolbar. That way it's very easy to access. So come here, put a star on your fib retracement, or you can click on the chart and press Option F or Alt F if you're on PC. Click from the top here, drag this down to the bottom of this zone right here. What I want you to notice is on this time frame, we've got 3 levels here. We can actually go, if we add, let's do 1.786. Okay, so what we have here is not only the diagonal level of resistance above us that we've tapped several times, horizontal, which we know had a lot of interaction, but in addition to that, we also have the fib extension from this range that we're breaking out of, we're trying to break out of, this high to this low, and we double click on our fib, and we add in, we have our extensions, the 1.618, the 1.786, all the things you want. And if you want to make yours, transparent like mine, it's right here on background. All this is in the Pro Trading View guide. If you come right here to Daily Alpha on the BitLab Academy YouTube, come over here I'm telling you, watch it, get involved, teach yourself, learn something, baby. We do extension from this here to the bottom. This gives us, you see this extension? It's based on where price action may go based on a previous price action. And we have the diagonal, the horizontal, and we also have the 1.618 right here, as well as a 1.786 right in this zone. So this is telling me that if I was going to just be trading this on a scalp or just a very quick trade, or maybe I want to take a little bit off the table when we get up in these regions, this $36,000 region, then where would I do it? Well, I can look at this fib extension as well as these diagonals, horizontals, all these things, and the price target from this, and say, if this is a price target up here, but we have this diagonal level of resistance and this horizontal level of resistance right below us, but it looks like the 1.786 and the 1.618 are front running this, meaning they're a little bit short of those resistances, I know that maybe I can ladder my exits anywhere in this zone. Does that make sense? Instead of take profit front running the 1.618, move your stop loss up into the zone. Also, set another, basically 1, 2, 3 on the bottom side of the zone, the middle of the zone, and on the top side of the zone when you're coming closer to this resistance level up here. Because if you look at this, where price action was interacting, you could have traded this right here and expected price action to come all the way up there, but it didn't. Similar right here. Now, we didn't have this level initially. We didn't have this level initially right here, because of this was formed once we got these 2 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, right? But we can see also right here, front run. So you want to ladder your entries and your exits. Now, it's time for Turbo TA. That's what we've been seeing on Bitcoin. If we want to look towards the next market, the full market cycle, what we can do, what do we do? Option F, from the top to the bottom. Let's zoom this out. There's a halving, is that vertical line. Now we can see. Okay, we're on Bitstamp. Let's go to the 3-day. And what I want you to see is, well, let's look at the last cycle. Last 2 cycles from the top, option F, to the bottom. Okay, where did this go to? This went to about the 4.618. Okay, what did it do on this one right here? Let's see. Delete. We're gonna kind of synthesize the two, because last cycle I do believe got cut short, because at the near what ended up being the top, we had the Chinese mining ban. So this is 4.618. And then this went all the way up to, 5.618 or something. So let's just do 4.618. And we're going to do that right here just to keep it truncated. 4.618 is right here, option J. That's $262,000. Again, I'm not saying it's going to go there. What I'm saying is previous price action suggests where price could expand to in the next bullish full bull cycle. I do think we're going to get a push up into this region here, somewhere between $38,000 and $44,000. If we get good ETF news and Coinbase thing gets dismissed, maybe we get all the way up to the golden pocket of this move, which is about $50,000, and then pull back into the halving and then continuation up. I think if I had to guess, and look at this, I'd done this previously, I would guess that we are probably going to be moving near a market top somewhere in this zone right here, somewhere in the $144,000 to $200,000 range. I have this target here. I don't think it's going to be at this time frame. I think it'd likely, you bastard. I think it'd likely be somewhere about here is where I would put it. Let's actually move it down. Ooh, sucker. There we go. Yeah. So now time for Turbo TA. Man, we just keep going and going on this show, don't we? Ethereum, let's ETH. We're gonna look at Market Cipher to keep our charts clean, because I know some people on here use Market Cipher. We got to show some different stuff on here sometimes. So Ethereum, let's go. Okay, let's go to the 4 hour. 4 hour. Let's actually do first off 12 hour. Let's do. First up, option F down the bottom. So this went to between the 2.618, 3.618. Okay, now let's do from the top to the bottom. This will put 2 to 3.618 would put Bitcoin, Ethereum about $12 to $15,000. And that's where a lot of people are thinking Ethereum will likely go. So 25. That's where I'm thinking. So we'll leave that there. Now let's go ahead and zoom in. Go double click on the chart here. We got 284 people in there and we got 258 likes. That means we can give away the $100 USDT. You still have time to enter. You're also going to get 3 months free membership for the BitLab Academy and premium Discord, not only the courses, but the Discord. Come over here to the BitLab Academy Twitter page, which is at Academy BitLab. Hit the retweet, hit the like button. Make sure you're following us. This is how you get entered. We are going to be doing that here in just a few minutes, but we're going to do some super turbo TA. Ethereum is looking like it's forming a little bit of a, I'd like to see at least a little bit of a inverse head and shoulder. You mother. Yeah, a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders right here. If this does find support. Now, remember, how do we suggest that this may happen? Well, we look at the tops or the bottoms here and we say that's kind of the zone that we want this price action on Ethereum. If this is going to play out, we want the price action to find support here and push back up. Our neckline is about right here. And when we break through this will be sort of open doors, because not only is this loading up right here, this is loading up bullish pressure right below the $2,000 mark. And that's going to be the gateway to a lot of big gains on Ethereum. So we need to pay attention to that. Now, is it going to happen? Well, we see anchor waves and then smaller trigger wave right here. So we do have an angle right here, meaning the momentum is building to the upside. We have the RSIs fairly split, but we do have money flow staying above the zero line at the moment. If I were to guess right now, this is looking like it's a little bit of a falling channel, maybe actually falling broadening wedge. Let's see, maybe neither. Sucker. Maybe, yeah, a little bit of a falling channel. So I do think this is, it's a good thing. When you see the bullish structures that it may be forming, you're not worried about the bearish price action to get there. There's price action coming down so long as we hold this region right here above, I would say above, so long as we hold above 1760, coming down into this region and pushing back up, we would be forming an inverse head and shoulders. So when you see the bullish structures forming, don't worry about the bearish price action to get there. It gives you an opportunity to get in. So that's what I'm seeing on Ethereum. Now, let's do ADA. I don't want to do that. Let's come here. I'm going to pull up my menu. ADA. We're going to go a couple minutes over today, guys. Everybody, again, if you haven't yet, come over here to the Academy at Academy BitLab. Retweet it. I'll post it in the chat right now. Go retweet, like, follow. You'll be entered to win. We're going to give away $100 and 3-month membership. Now, ADA. Let's look at the chart that I already have marked up. Okay, so a lot of stuff going on here. This is looking a little ugly. This did make it up to this level here. This was a previous low. This is confirming this zone, though. So this coming down. If anything, we'd like to hold above this low here. So as this is looking like it may, if this is able to hold above this, below if this is able to break this zone, then we can likely retest this. But as it looks right now, this is looking like it's working its way down to test 25 cents. If we're not able to hold that, then there's a lot of bearishness going on. 24 cents, we lose that, it's going to be a lot lower. What was some of the other ones that you guys mentioned? Let's actually go. Let's go to AVAX. AVAX. Okay, let's go ahead and delete this. Came up, bounced, got rejected right at this previous low right here. Looking a little bearish. We do have the stochastics aimed up. The money flow is starting to aim up too. So let's go down to the, this is on the daily. Let me go to the 4-hour. So yeah, money flows kind of came down a bit. Stochastics trying to work their way up. RSI getting rejected. See this? Look at this, right at the 50 line. Let me go ahead and scroll back. I just got a ding in my ear. Okay, wasn't anything important, I don't think. RSI getting rejected at the 4-hour, at the 50 line on the RSI is suggesting that this may be having a little bit of a relief rally on the small move. What do I mean by that? Small move right here, where if we're not able to even take the golden pocket, this is likely going to work its way back down to test down here near the point of control, $11. As this is looking right now, I'm a little bit ambivalent on AVAX. Coming here, let's look at XRP. Okay, so XRP, double click on the chart. Let's go zoom out like this. We've got, okay, so this point to this point projects this line out. And as it looks right now, are we falling back below it? Come on, VPVR. So yeah, it looks like we're fighting around this region. If we lose this region, we're coming back down, likely to test 41 cents because this is looking like a little bit sideways, but this is looking a little bit like a head and shoulders right here. Why are my things so transparent? These damn charts. These pretzels are making me thirsty. You know that reference? Tell me what show it's from. So what we want to watch here on XRP, if this does turn out to be an head and shoulders, is look at this. Look at this green box I had drawn previously based on previous levels, confluence of a lot of stuff. Now this is previous to this entire head and shoulders being formed. Look at the target right in the middle of this box. So if we do lose this area, there's, we very likely would be targeting down into the zone, 41 cents down to 38 cents sort of region on XRP. Now coming over to H-bar. Let's look at H-bar. Okay, option T. You have these lines, got rejected. Option F. Pushed up right into the golden pocket, up almost to the platinum pocket, got rejected right in the zone. Rollover, this rollover is right at previous price action. So what we want to see here, option F on this immediate move right here, we can actually draw this further like this, all the way up to the wick. We are bouncing, look at this, right at the golden pocket. So if we're not able to hold this, then I'm thinking we're testing back down to 4.2 cents. Let's do one more. Let's do algo. I know I forgot to do it yesterday. Oh, and coin. I got to do coin. So Algorand, it's looking very weak as it stands right now. This is looking like it's probably going to test back down. So let's do coin. Coin. Coinbase. Is there really that little trading on this? Let me coin. It's not indicators. What am I doing? Coin stocks. All right. It's looking a little ugly. Option T. Got this line here. Support, resistance, 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 resistance. Now we do have a little bit of option T, a little bit of a trend line right here, as well as a zone. Zone I'm seeing, I've never done TA on coin before. Zone right here, let's make this blue and a little bit brighter. There we go. So as this looks, this kind of, I'm not going to call it a inverse head and shoulders, but it kind of has similar stuff right here. This has broken the neckline, so it in a way kind of invalidates that. But this is looking like it's trying to be bullish. It's having a lot of battles with the bears, but the bears try to take it down, brought it back up, and the bears try to take it down again, and we're holding in this zone. If we're able to break this level right here, the next level I'm seeing above it is this zone right here, which is quite a big move. This would be a larger move that we'd be looking at, but I'd be looking at option J, that zone, and this zone right here. Look at this. Bounced right here, rejected right here. So these are the levels I'll be watching. If we break through this, next step up is 85, next step up 115. That's what I'm seeing. If we reject here, then we have the point of control right in this zone. We have the point of control right here. If we bounce there, it's very bullish. If we lose the point of control, we still have confluence of this diagonal and this horizontal right here. So that's what I'm seeing there. Let's go ahead. If you haven't yet, head over to BitLab Academy, hit this retweet, hit this like, get involved, follow us there. Now I'm going to come over here. I need to log into, come over here to BitLab Academy. I need to come over here to comment picker and log in. And we're going to do $100 USDT giveaway, as well as 3 months membership to the premium Discord as well. This is BitLab premium Discord, and 3-month all access to all the courses we have and all the courses that are to come, which we have some that will be being released soon. So let's go ahead, authorize app. Now go boom. Now we need to come back right here. Nope. We need to copy this. This is today. Oh, that's not today's tweet. I almost picked from the wrong one. Copy link to tweet, put it in here. Link to tweet, must like and follow. Yes, you have to like and follow. Like and follow. Now, if you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that bell. We had such a good show today. Big love to every single one of you. We got 47 people we're drawing from. Let's go ahead and scroll down. Who's going to be the winner? $100 USDT from our pockets to yours, and three-month membership to BitLab Academy. If you haven't followed us yet here in our community, join us, get involved, and let's see who is the one that was winning this one. We got Matt L. Matt Lane, I believe. Is that Matt Lane? I'm not sure. Matt L. Whoever Matt L. 596124444. I'm going to screenshot that just to make sure. And I just want to say how much I absolutely love and appreciate each and every one of you. Every one of these streams is about providing you tools, providing you strategies, providing you insight, how to think about this market, how you can make sure to capitalize on the market so that the market doesn't capitalize on you. And with that being said, big love. I absolutely appreciate every one of you, and I'll see you next time. Adios. Adios, muchachos. Thank you for coming. Thank you for always tuning in. BitLabAcademy.com. Hit that like button, sucker.